Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the impact, evaluation, prediction and assessment. Impact prediction, evaluation and mitigation in environment impact assessment. So what is meant by environment impact assessment? We have already covered a lot of topics regarding environment impact assessment. Still, EIA, according to the UN, an assessment of impact of a planned activity on the environment can be called as an environment impact assessment. So environmental assessment is describing a technique or a process by which information about the environmental effects of a project is collected, both by the developer and from other sources, and it is taken into account by the planning authority in forming their judgments on whether the development should go ahead. So the definitions of EIA can be discussed as it's a formal process for identifying what are the likely effects of activities or projects on the environment and on human health and welfare, how the project is affecting the environment, human health and welfare. Then what are the means and measures to mitigate and monitor these impacts? How can the mitigation and monitoring of these impacts be carried out? So environment is broadly interpreted into physical environment, biological environment and social environment. Okay, these are the broad classifications of environment: physical environment, biological environment and social environment. So in environment impact assessment, the term impact is used instead of effect of activities. Due to certain activity, what are the effects caused? For coining this effect of activity, we are using a new term known as impact in the case of environment impact assessment. Now, what are the predictions or what need to be predicted in a EIA study? In case of prediction, the object of prediction is to identify the magnitude and other dimensions of identified change in the environment with the project or action in comparison with the situation without that project or action, which means that with respect to a project or an action happening, what are the identified changes? Okay, what are the identified changes? And the object is to identify the magnitude and other dimensions of these changes. What are the magnitude and what are the other dimensions of these changes? These need to be identified. So it's a comparative study. Like once the project is in action and once the project is not in action, a comparison need to be done between the changes happening. Okay, so observe this flow chart. Prediction: what we need to predict, what type of change will happen before the project and after the project. So the impacts will be like, what are the direct impacts, what are the indirect impacts, what are the generated impacts, what are the cumulative impacts at different time and impacts at different scale. Okay, now how any project component will be giving rise to an impact, how impacts will be occurring due to project. Now, what is the probability of different impacts occurring? What are the magnitude of each impact? So these are the steps which can be done in case of prediction. Now, for impact prediction, there are different considerations. Okay, these are the important considerations for impact prediction. One is, what is the baseline condition? Then what is the uncertainty? Then what is the spatial limits, temporal boundaries and incremental conditions? These are the different important considerations for impact prediction. Let us see one by one. Now, there are different methods of impact prediction. There are the different methods are extrapolative method, normative methods. And another important method for impact prediction include mathematical models, statistical models, geography information system, field and laboratory experimental methods, physical models and expert judgment. These are the different methods for impact prediction. So what do you mean by extrapolative method? These are the different methods: extrapolative, normative, mathematical model, statistical model, geography information system, field and laboratory experimental methods, physical models, and expert judgment. These are the different methods for impact prediction. Extrapolative method. Extrapolative methods are made on the basis of present and past data. Okay, what is the past data available and what is the current data available? Based on the present and past data, extrapolative methods are made. So this extrapolative methods will include trend and scenario analysis, then analogies and forecasting. Okay, these are different techniques. We don't need to go deep into the different prediction technique, but you just understand the names and what are the common things done in these prediction methods. Next one is normative methods. Normative method explain how the fulfillment of a desired target is achieved. How a desired target is achieved. For example, consider a situation where one construction project is going on. Okay. The target is to employ 50% of the local population. So in order to meet this particular target, that is an employment of 50% need to be reserved for the local population. So in order to meet this target, it may require that the project need to be changed, and also the employment policy of the firm need to be changed in order to meet this target. Okay, so that is about the normative method. Another one is mathematical model based on the cause-effect relationship. What is the cause and what is the effect generated due to this cause? A mathematical modeling will be conducted in order to study the cause-effect relationship. And this mathematical model will be usually expressed in the form of mathematical functions. Now, these models are used for predicting the impact only partially. There is only a partial prediction of impact. The different types of mathematical models include deterministic models and stochastic models. Statistical model means the relationship between the data and test hypothesis is indicated by statistical analysis. For example, we have to predict how frequently the floods will be occurring. Next one is geographic information system. Geographic information system means you have to map. Okay, there will be different satellite images, maps, aerial photographs, etc. for providing information on the existing resources. Okay, now using GIS technique, what are the impacts of development project? It can be analyzed by using the effect of project activities. Then field and laboratory experimental method. Like a field visit will be conducted, listing out the experiments required to be conducted, and those experiments will be conducted properly and the study will be systematically carried out. Physical models, it is closely linked to field and laboratory experiment. Okay, it is used for making decisions on site. For example, the physical parameters of a runoff river hydro project, natural features like topography, socio-cultural features like villages, schools, bridges, etc. are included. Now, in case of rivers, what is the impoundment of flow that need to be calculated? Now, expert judgment. The expert judgment is to be for producing the acceptable result, and it should be replicable, it should be consistent, and it should be adaptable. Now, the different advantages and disadvantages of impact identification method: checklist method, metrics method, network method, overlay method, GIS and computer system expert. These are the different advantages and disadvantages of the EIA method. Evaluation. Now, what is the purpose of impact evaluation? In order to assign relative significance. What are the predicted impacts that is associated with the project, and for the predicted impact we need to assign a relative significance, okay, which need to be given more priority, that need to be fixed. So it will be helping to determine what is the order in which the impacts are to be avoided. Some impacts can be avoided, it will be of negligence importance, so it can be avoided. Some impacts need to be mitigated, and for some impact the magnitude will be so high so that there should be a compensation made. Okay, so the assessment of impact means it will be checking the significance of the impacts, okay, the valuation of significance. Then this significance can be done or determined by professional judgment. Now, for assessing the significance of impact, the key elements include scientific and professional judgments, measure of disturbance to ecological system, then impacts on social values and quality of life, existence of environmental standards, availability of mitigation practice and technology. Now, how is the impact significance determined? What is the level of public concern, scientific and professional judgment, measure of disturbance to ecological system, and the impact on social values and quality of life? These are the different impact significance. Now, different analytical methods are available for impact evaluation. One is cost benefit analysis, and another one is scoring and weighting and multi-criteria method. Just for your understanding, you don't need to discuss more about this cost benefit analysis and all. Cost benefit analysis means what is the monetary value? Okay, you will be checking the monetary values in cost, and from the benefits obtained from the monetary value, a mapping between the cost incurred and the expenses derived will be made. Benefit analysis. Another one is scoring and weighing and multi-criteria method. In scoring and weighing and multi-criteria method, they will be using a qualitative or quantitative scale. What is the information available and what is the impact under consideration? How the different level of impact can be scored in different system. Now, mitigation method means what is the measures designed to reduce the undesirable effect of a proposed action. Okay, the implementation of measures designed to reduce undesirable effects of a proposed action on the environment. Now, the aim of mitigation, I think I have already discussed in one previous lecture. There are two aims. One is there will be two types of impact, positive impacts as well as negative impact. So the aim will be to maximize the positive impact and also minimize the significant negative impact. So even after mitigation, if some impact is remaining, then you call it as residual impacts. Now, mitigation in EIA practice. So types of mitigation, the source of the effect. Okay, what is the source that is causing the effect? For example, if noise is the impact, what is the equipment that is generating the noise? If there is any toxicant present, what is the toxicant, etc. Next one is the receptor. The environment entity is likely to be adversely affected by the receptor. What is the pathway? Pathway means from the source at which the effect is generated, it will be reaching the receptor. What is the route? The route by which a receptor could be exposed to the effect, you call it as the pathway. So all these mitigations are important. Mitigation at the source, mitigation at the receptor, and also mitigation at the pathway. All these things are important. Now, an adverse effect will be occurring only if all the three components are simultaneously present. So this is the mitigation hierarchy. Avoid. Completely try to avoid the impact. Then reduce. In some cases, complete avoidance will not be possible. So the objective will be to reduce. Next one is remedy. In some cases, some remedy need to be provided. Then compensate. Some effects will be too severe, so that there need to be a compensation. And finally, enhancement. So this is the mitigation hierarchy. Avoid, reduce, remedy, compensate, and enhance. Okay. So that's it. So I think you got some idea. We'll continue later.